Start at the cranial end and work caudally. So what's this big dark organ right here? Somebody should know.
The liver.
The liver. Say the liver. And the liver has, in a cat, has 6 lobes. 2 on the left, 4 on the right. So this is the left lateral. And if you're writing this on an exam, just so you know to get full credit, you wouldn't just say left lateral lobe. You should say left lateral lobe of the liver, because other things have lobes, right? And I've had people tell me that these are lungs. These are not lungs down here. Those are livers, right? So left lateral lobe of the liver, left medial lobe of the liver. Then we have the quadrate lobe of the liver. Now the quadrate lobe is supposed to have sort of 4 sides, but it doesn't always look that way. Sometimes it sort of looks rectangular, sometimes not. Then embedded right in this crack here is the gallbladder, okay? And then this is the right medial lobe of the liver. And then if we pull that back, you can see there are 2 lobes down here near my finger, right? So this is the right lateral lobe there, and this is the caudate lobe with a C. So the caudate with a C, and this is quadrate with a Q. And there's one other place we can see the caudate lobe, and it hasn't been destroyed in this cat. That's amazing. So right here is the papillary process of the caudate lobe of the liver. So I know that whatever it is you're talking about is important. So if you want to talk, it might be better out there. Okay, then coming down, we're going to have the esophagus, and then we're going to have the stomach-shaped organ. What's the stomach-shaped organ?
Probably the stomach.
Oh my God, Leah, you're on fire. Coming out of the stomach is going to be the straight tube that goes craniocaudal. That would be the duodenum. And where the duodenum ends, usually this one's kind of kinky, so probably this cat's belong to Sexy Red. But normally this just kind of reflects and goes into the jejunum. This is like an extra curve here. So almost all of this is jejunum, okay? And then if you go to the colon, the last 4 or 5 inches, about that much between my thumbs, that's the ileum. So is it I-L-I-U-M or I-L-E-U-M? I-L-E-U-M, oh my God. All right, we have peritoneum. So we've seen the greater omentum before, right? When we looked for the right gastroepiploic. The lesser omentum has been torn. I won't be able to tag it because it's all gone, but it used to be between the lesser curvature of the stomach and the liver. And then we have this peritoneum that goes out around and back over the small intestine. That clear stuff right there is the, whoop, what happened? That was weird. No, this is not gas. Well, we'll be back in a second here, I think. There it is. Okay, I'm not really sure why that happened. Oh, my blue fingernails are back. There we go. Okay. So what's this called that goes out to the small intestine and back? Mesentery or mesenteric ligament. So we may not have talked about that, but this is incredibly important. It doesn't look like much, but it keeps your intestines from tying themselves in knots. And if they were to tie themselves in knots, you would die. And it would probably be a fairly unpleasant death. So you might wonder how I know that happens. Some people are born without this. They almost always die prematurely of a twisted small intestine. And actually a person who is relatively well known died from that. One of the Gibbs brothers, not Robin, not Barry, the other one. Maurice Gibbs. So does anybody know who the Gibbs brothers were? What were they famous for? Have any of you ever heard of the Bee Gees? One of them died from a twisted intestine because he didn't have a mesenteric ligament. Okay, now right here, this thing that looks like a pancake, what's that?
Spleen.
That's a spleen, okay? And then we have a different arrangement in the cat than we have in humans. We have something that looks like an upside down L, it kind of resembles hamburger helper. It goes up here and then it comes transversely across right here. What would that be? Pancreas, right? Okay, we have the large intestine. Large intestine in a cat has a higher percentage of it is the colon than in a human, because there isn't really an ascending colon. There is a cecum. The cecum is really small. And then the anatomical conundrum of the cat is, if it looks like a question mark, why do we call it a colon? I don't have an answer for that, but I'm sure someone will come up with it. It's probably Leah. All right. We have the kidneys, right? And the kidney is a kidney-shaped organ. And then if you look cranial and medial to the kidney right here, there's a blue vessel. See the blue vessel here? There's a small organ on either side of that, about the size of a lentil, right? That little piece right there. That would be the suprarenal gland. So in a human, the adrenal gland is on the kidney. But in a cat, it's not on the kidney. It's cranial and medial to it. Okay. Then these did it again. That is too weird.
Must be out
We'll
of
be back in a
juice.
second. I guess I have to pay more attention to this computer. It doesn't like me or something. I don't know why that's doing that. There it is. Okay. Oh, my blue fingernails again. All right. The kidneys I don't think have been cut. No. I will come around and transect the kidney with a scalpel. We'll do a coronal cut. And you'll see the pig kidney is different than a cat kidney. It has only one pyramid of the medulla, and the cortex is on the outside. You'll see in the human kidney, there's usually 8 to 10 pyramids in the medulla. And so on lab practical, if you wanted to get full credit and one of those were tagged, you would say pyramid of the medulla of the kidney, right? Because you want to tell me what organ it is and then specifically what part of the organ. And then right near the middle, and I can't show you because this isn't cut, but right near the middle where they all feed into the pelvis, there's, it's called a calyx. And the calyx is sort of a cup-shaped thing, or it looks a little bit like a funnel. There's a calyx for each pyramid. So in a human, there'd be 8 to 10 calyces. In a cat, there's only one. Okay, and then what else? We got the urinary bladder. Urinary bladder will be in one of two configurations. So it'll either be really flat, like a party balloon that doesn't have any air in it, or it will look like a grape, and it'll be kind of hard, and it'll have it'll be sort of more three-dimensional. If it's flat, it's because the urinary bladder was full when the cat died, and then it gradually emptied, but the muscles were all stretched out, and since they were dead, they don't contract. If it looks like a grape, then the urinary bladder was flatter when it died. And then coming from the urinary bladder outward will be the urethra. And in the male cats, the urethra goes down and it has a prostate gland around it. We'll be talking about that in lab 11. And it will go out through the shaft of the penis, out to the glands of the penis. In a female cat, the urethra will enter the vestibule, and it joins the vagina internally. So in a cat, a vestibule is internal. It's like a tube. Actually, it looks like a Y. So you have urethra and vagina coming together into the vestibule. In a human, those tubes go externally separately, and the vestibule is external. Beyond the colon, I didn't say, but down here is the rectum. Damn near killed them. And I think that's most of the list. But I'll come around, and if you have any questions, obviously you can